No, I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Well, Mr. SpongeBob over here is ready.
Okay. Yesterday, Will, quick story about SpongeBob. Sorry, Nick. We were playing Fortnite and someone said something about Patrick Star, and I was like, who is that? Is that the guy from SpongeBob? And they were like, yeah. I never watched SpongeBob, by the way. And then I was like, what's SpongeBob's last name?
So then Cody and I were like, SquarePants?
Like, I knew that, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
All right.
SpongePants Square Bob.
All right. Take two. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
And Will, I assume, is ready. All right.
Sweet Bob.
Well, hello, gamers. Not everyone. We're just going to say gamers because I assume that if you're a gamer, or, I mean, if you're listening to this, you are a gamer because, you know, that makes sense. Because we are Out of the Box Gaming, a podcast where we talk about games. Why? Well, because we want to, and we feel like that we have something to say that you may want to hear. I am your host, Nick Picard, and joining me is the boss man himself, Will Kinsey.
You know, they could just be lost. They don't have to be gamers.
Yeah,
True.
that's true. That's true.
If you are
Well,
lost, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. We'll help you find your way.
Yes.
We also want to show you our love of games and, you know, maybe even introduce you to something new. And as always, we want to hear from you, so please feel free to drop topic ideas, discussion questions, and anything else that you'd love to hear us talk about.
Yeah. All right. So this is the part of the episode where we bring Lindsay, our producer, to give us a trivia question. So, Lindsay, what question do you have for us today?
Hi, friends. So this question will be a little hint as to what the main part of the episode will be about. So my question today is, what game had the first boss fight? Let me rephrase that. What video game contained the first ever boss fight?
All right.
Boss
well, I know
fights, not boss level, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm probably not going to get a point this week, so yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That is an excellent question you have for us today, Lindsay. If you guys at home want to go ahead and think on that question, or if you already know the answer, go ahead and type it in chat, or just save it for the end of the episode. We'll come back to it and answer it then. Nick,
Yeah.
what have you been playing this week, my friend?
This week? Well, I know on Monday I played like 4 different games in the night. Started out with Spellbreak. There was a newer Battle Royale game that released a couple weeks ago. You play as, I think, solo, duo, or trio. It doesn't go higher than that. I mean, the very first game, I won. It was me and a friend. We won, and then we won our third game, and then after that, we lost all the other games. Which I think they have a skill-based system on that game, so when you go in, like brand new, so you're probably going to be against like new, like other new people. And then, yeah, it just got a little bit harder after that. The only problem that I have with the game that I noticed was it seemed like there was not a lot of people in the match. I think the max people was like 42. And a lot of the times I'm just kind of running around, not really seeing anybody for quite a while. But
so is that the max set by the game, or that was just not a lot of people playing? Oh, okay.
No, like I think I looked it up and it said 42 people. I'm like, oh, that's not a lot. I feel like you could easily get at least 60. So
Yeah, I think it really depends on the size of the map and the speed and all the mobility options.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the
Because there are
map
some
was.
games like Hyperscape, you only get 60 people, and then
Is it
there
60
are
people?
other. I think
Hold
so.
on. No.
It's
No.
33
It's
teams.
33 teams, and
33 teams of
so if you
three
have a
people. Oh, okay. So yeah,
yeah,
100
so
people.
yeah,
I don't know why. I think. Oh wait, yeah. Fall Guys is sticking in my head. Fall Guys is 60
Yeah.
people.
yeah. Fall Guys is 60 people. Yeah,
Can you imagine
But there are
100?
some battle royales like
100 of
that.
Fall Guys. Yeah, imagine
That would
that.
be on those maps. That'd be ridiculous.
Imagine
like the
100.
DoorDash one.
Well, no, I was gonna say imagine 100, and the very first map to be the block party.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
They'd have to make that bigger.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So it did. Well, Monday we did Spellbreak, and then we did Hyperscape because we wanted to try out that new game mode that they showed during the Ubisoft Forward. But sad. We
Was that
it was
like the
kind of
turbo
sad.
mode or
Yeah,
whatever?
but we couldn't do it, and I don't know why. Like it was me, Lindsay, and our friend, and it wouldn't let us. I guess you had to be solo to do it. I mean, which is kind of lame. So we didn't actually get to try it out. And then I think after that we played a little Fall Guys, and then after that we did Fortnite. So yeah, we played. I played just battle royale games on Monday.
Very nice. Very
Battle
nice.
Royale Monday.
Yeah. And then Tuesday had Mutants and Masterminds, and then
Oh, we did?
yeah, we did, yeah, because Lindsay's character is literally hanging there, and that's where we ended it.
Oh yes, a literal
The cliffhanger.
Yeah, the cliffhanger. I cannot remember what I played on.
No, well, I'll talk about it when it's my turn. Carry on.
Okay, I can't remember what all I played. I know I played some League. I know I played that with you.
You played some Overwatch.
Oh yeah, I did play a little
with
Overwatch
me.
because I wanted to get that Tracer skin, and I finally got it. And yeah, let's just say trying to get those 9 wins was a bit of a challenge. Yeah, because man, I miss winning in that game.
Man, I wish I was better at Tracer. I'm just
I'm not good.
A Junkrat rat.
But after I got the skin, one of the viewers was telling me to go into the training and just to melee. And whenever you melee, it does like that comic book. You like pow, kapow, oof,
Oh,
like all that.
that's fun.
So,
That's cool.
yeah. Yeah. So I did that. I did. I feel like there was a game. Oh yeah, I haven't played any Tony Hawk this week. I've just been busy with other games, and yeah.
Forsaken the Hawk. How dare you?
Yeah. And and then like I said, we have been playing League, and I was really enjoying that, especially that one match. It was before you and your buddy like joined into the Discord, and I was playing Olaf. Man, I was popping off on that game.
He was hyping on you. He was like, "Man, does your bro does he main Olaf?" I was like, "I think he used to play him a lot. I don't know." We were cheering you on, just like, "Yeah, go Nick."
I mean, he was not one that I like often played, but it seems like the past few times I played ARAM, I would often get him more than others. But I was like having fun with him, and then there was the part where I was just like, I'm gonna hide in this bush, and I'm just gonna kind of hope. Like, I mean, I feel like I can, pretty much take them on, and then,
I was so worried about you at that point.
Oh, I think Ron was in there with me, and then like they kind of walked past a little bit. And I'm like, all right, this is where we're going, and then I just kind of go in, and then we destroy them. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, I was having a lot of fun with League. I would like to play more League. Yeah. I also need to do some TFT. I did try to, I think, do one.
My bad.
I think I tried to do like one
active now. TFT?
Yes. Which I did
Okay.
one game, but I didn't pay attention throughout because something was going on. My focus shift over to that, so I was basically AFK in the game. And then whenever I came back, it was, I mean, I couldn't come back, so I haven't
Gotcha.
actually got to do like a true TFT game since then.
Well, we'll have to jump on League at some point today.
Yeah. And yeah, I think, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. What about you, Will?
Well, jumped on Fortnite with you guys. I think we got a couple wins.
Yeah.
I feel like I strongly represented the power of both the boat rockets and grenades,
Mhm.
as I got several kills with both the other night. So that was really fun. How many wins did we get the other night? 2?
At least 2. I know that.
Yeah. You guys left me for dead at one point because you were too busy trying to get a coin in the coral place.
Oh, the rings. We were
Yeah.
trying
It was a challenge.
rings.
to, yeah, it was a challenge, and we were just trying to get the rings that was in coral. So
But I feel like there was
I'm like
also
driving down the
coin.
river and you guys are just dying
Oh, yeah,
in the
there
storm
was a
miles
coin there,
behind
too.
me.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got the rings, and then we saw the coin, and what was it, a purple coin?
it was a purple coin.
So
Yeah.
the
Okay,
purple
yeah.
coins, when you hit them, they explode into tiny ones, so you have to build around so you can get them easily.
Yeah.
And we kept running out of mats.
Yeah. Sorry.
Like, I was just hanging out in that lagoon up on top of the waterfall. I had to kill 2 players with rockets and a shark with rockets. And then the storm came and I just drove up the river.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for you guys. I wanted to say, get in, losers, the storm's coming. But I heard, we need more mats. I heard something about a purple coin. So I was like, oh, okay. I'll just wait until the storm gets here. And then I had to hightail it out of there.
Yeah.
Well, and I didn't even
Our bad.
realize the storm.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, we played some Fortnite, played a little Mutants and Masterminds. You guys got yourselves into a sticky situation,
Yes.
and Lindsay is hanging from sort of a cliff in an unexpected location. If you guys didn't watch that stream, it was pretty fun. Nick's very strong, very powerful character finally got hit.
Yeah.
Like, actually got hit for the first time ever.
Yeah. Yeah. It hurt.
It did. So we'll see how everything transpires with that in 2 weeks.
Yeah. 2 weeks.
Yeah. Let's see. Other than that, played a bunch of League and For Honor. I jumped back into For Honor, maining my a double katana Aramusha, and just been having a lot of fun with that. We've really only been playing against bots, so I can't say I'm good at the game, but we have been enjoying the game. And really, that's all that matters.
Is the game modes like still the same as what they were before?
They've got so many game modes now,
Oh,
and
really?
mostly my buddy is like the party leader, so he's just like, hey, what orders do you have for today? I'll tell him, and then we just go in and play. But they have pretty much every game mode that you can do against bots. So we just set the bots to either match our skill level, or we just set it at like level 3 or level 4, because those are pretty tough bots. At least for us. I'm sure for actual people who play For Honor, level 3 and level 4 bots are nothing. But yeah,
So
it's really cool. I like that you can just set every game mode to bots.
What was the character say that
Aramusha.
Okay, yeah.
Aramusha.
I pulled up the Ubisoft For Honor like site, and I'm looking
that's
at
a lot more characters than
Yeah.
I remember when we played.
Yes.
Well, we played
yeah,
it
they
when-
added an entire new faction.
I
The
assume
Wu something.
do you have to
they're
pay
the Chinese
extra
people.
for it? I assume you do.
I think it's a DLC or something like that. I don't have them unlocked, and I haven't tried to unlock them. Because I have my main, and then I play a Kinsei whenever I have an order that's like play 2 different heroes today. So I play my main and then I jump over to a Kinsei, which is the big samurai guy who has like the washing pole sword.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he's a free samurai. You don't
Yeah,
have to pay steel to unlock him.
They have a lot more characters.
And they're insane,
let's
my
see.
dude.
I'm remembering 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think it was only 12 in season 1. Like 4 of
6,
the first 3
7,
factions.
8.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was not this many of what they have now.
Yeah, I think it started with 12 and then they've just added over the years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started back in For Honor. It's been fun, even just playing against bots. And that's mostly it. I've been looking around at some other games. I downloaded Guns of Icarus and then realized that you have to have other people basically to play
Yeah.
the campaign. So
I used
I
to play,
uninstalled that.
I used to play that, and well, I didn't play it that much. I got talked into playing it in college with some of our friends. I didn't know what was going on. So,
Yeah, it looked interesting, and I'd always been interested in it, and I thought I could play a single player version of it, but you can't. So
Sea of Thieves make me think of Guns of Icarus, where you have to like be like on Sea of Thieves, you know, where we're on the ship, and if we're in a battle, like there's different things that you need to do because that part of it is basically Guns of Icarus, and
I loved that part of Sea of Thieves.
yeah.
There's really only like one main part that I didn't love about Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah, we know.
Do we, Nick? I don't think we've talked about that.
We've talked about it extensively, Lindsay,
yeah.
but we're gonna move past Sea of Thieves. And we're gonna talk about what you've been playing this week.
A lot of the same as Nick. I would like to say, in regards to our Mutants and Masterminds campaign,
Yes.
I feel like you will put me in that situation that you left me in at the end, because I wasn't even going to go in there. And you were like, oh, do you want to go in? And then I was like, yeah. Like, I was
ran
just
over
gonna
to
walk.
the door.
Yeah, I didn't know why I could go in. I thought I was out of stuff to do. I was just going to move over there to get away from the big guy that just punched Nick.
Oh, you
And
ran
then-
right up to the door.
Yeah, I was trying to run away, but I was like, I'll run over here. So I'm closer to whenever I can go in. So I would like to say, yeah, you put me in that situation, but anywho,
It's okay.
it was fun. I'm interested to see what happens. Hopefully I can hang on there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, Fortnite, did a little bit of Hyperscape, Fall Guys. Still have yet to win Fall Guys, but I honestly
Same,
don't play
fam.
all the time. But
Yeah, we rarely play.
yeah, well, twice this week. But last night I only played 2 games. 'Cause
Yeah.
It was late. Yeah. That'd be it. Did we play any Avengers this week?
If we did, I think it was on Sunday of. So
Yeah, because we played a little bit because last podcast we talked about how we had just finished the campaign.
yeah,
and then we did play a little bit after that.
Yeah. Let me tell you about Avengers real quick. So that was one of the days whenever I came home, I got into Avengers, and because they have the harm room stuff, but they have like only these single players where you go in as a certain character. I'm like, okay, well, this will be fun. That harm room really makes me mad because it's did Tony Stark at first. I think this was the last time that we played, and I actually did tried this one after we got off. and it's telling it like it's a little like tutorial to begin with of like, hey, you're gonna do this, and I was like, I already know how to do this, and this like I feel like the game's already told me, and I'm like, okay, and then it was like you have to go and you have to defeat these 3 waves. First wave is pretty easy. Second wave, it was annoying, and your health was not it doesn't regen, so and in between each wave, it doesn't regen. So even if I beat, like, I think on that one, I just kept dying in the second one. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this right now. But then the other day, whenever I tried it, I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll do the Hulk. You know, he's pretty low level. You know, I feel like I could do that one pretty easy. Whenever I got in him, and he has an ability where you could actually gain health with this thing. Yeah, even with me doing that, I would still die in the second one, or if I actually beat the second wave, my health was very low, and I was basically one shot away from dying. And whenever you die, you have to start all the way over. And I was like, wow. I'm not dealing with this.
Get good.
Yeah, I know, right? I have to get good.
Are they harder the higher level? Like, does it scale with your level? Like, should we have done them sooner?
It's whatever level you are. It's what it's going to be.
So it does.
It does scale with your level, but so it doesn't matter when you do it, because my Hulk was like level 8.
Okay.
And it was like level 8, and then my Iron Man's like 20 something, and yeah, it's not going to matter. That's why I've been
putting those off, because I figure they were going to be hard.
Yeah, they're hard. I
maybe I'll just never complete those.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's what I've been playing. Yeah, so those harm rooms are pretty hard, you know. And speaking of, you know, like
call it a hard room.
Yeah, you know, speaking of, you know, hard fights, we are going to talk about boss fights today.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh, did I get the wrong impression? I thought we were.
Oh, okay. I'm down.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Let's do it.
See, I told you my trivia question was a hint.
Yeah. So boss talk.
Boss talk.
Yeah. I don't know where you want to start with this, Will.
And let's just start off with our favorite boss fights, you know?
Our favorite boss fights?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for me to remember different ones, because my memory is fresh on ones from like the past couple of years.
Or favorite bosses.
So.
Boss levels.
Yeah.
Well, since I am very not experienced on this topic, I'll go first. My favorite boss is Bowser, because that's pretty much all I've done.
Well, whenever you face Bowser. Wasn't it Mario Odyssey? Of all the different... Because it's not just Bowser.
He's got his whole little crew in Mario Odyssey.
His babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are some ugly things.
I mean, that game, like, those boss
fights... Hey, don't talk about Peach's children like that.
I'm sorry, what?
What? What?
Well, I mean, it was bound to happen, right?
I mean, those boss fights, they weren't terrible.
No, they weren't.
I mean, some of them, I don't remember them, like, all of them. I think there was maybe one or two that was more annoying than the others. Which I feel like typically in a game that has multiple boss fights, you're going to get some that are really fun boss fights, but you're also going to get the ones that are really annoying.
Yeah. The only other boss fight I remember was this Infamous?
Infamous Second Son?
We played that.
Yes, we did.
Wasn't there a really annoying one at the end?
Probably. I don't remember.
Okay. I feel like that's the one that I'm thinking of that like gives me bad memories. I feel like it was on a bridge or something. I don't know. Clearly I was prepared.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have to say.
I'm looking up this boss fight. If it's going to show an image, or is this just going to talk? It's just going to talk about it.
Yeah. There is some.
This?
Yeah,
So Bowser
yeah,
is pretty
yeah.
iconic because he's got all the great boss fights, but then also back in the day, the boss levels. I always thought the boss levels for like Bowser's Castle and stuff
Oh
were
yeah.
more difficult than Bowser
Then
himself
Bowser,
because jumping
yes.
over Bowser, grabbing the hammer and smacking him, like that's
Yeah.
easy. But
But
the
dodging the
Bowser's Castle levels,
fireballs. Yeah.
it just no, thank you.
Yeah, man, I didn't even think about talking about like the levels. I was just
Yeah,
over here thinking about the fights themselves.
Yeah, like dodging the fireballs and the laser spitty thing.
Yeah. Is this what you remember, Lindsay?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that boss fight
Yeah.
that I remember. It was
Yeah, that was
awful.
yeah.
I don't think I was too experienced of a player, a gamer.
No, this was
when
like
we played this.
this was early in your gaming.
Yeah, 2014. That's what math 6 years ago.
Yes.
now
Yeah, that
Lindsay's
was-
just a true jamer.
You know it.
I mean, I guess I can go ahead and pull up this boss fight. Yeah, this is the one that Lindsay was thinking of. I totally forgot about this, but this game was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed the game.
Infamous Second Son.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
We played. It's a one player, but we like switched off playing it. Right.
Yeah.
We do that several times on several different games. That's
Yeah.
how we play
I feel
all
like
of the
well, I
Uncharted games.
don't want to talk about that. So yeah, that was a little clip of that
Yeah.
boss fight. But yeah, Infamous Second Son, that was made by what? Sucker Punch, I believe. I think so. Now,
Sounds right.
yeah. I was just going to bring up Ghost of Tsushima real quick. Not one that I could really talk about with boss fights because those fights were pretty easy. So they're not. I mean, I enjoyed them.
Maybe
they're a lot of
you
fun.
were just a really good player.
Yeah, maybe I was just, cranking 90s.
You were
all the
doing
time.
all of the side stuff, so I don't know if your gear was just like one-shotting things and
No.
keeping you alive for all of
I
them.
know. I
don't know
probably should. I
exactly how
probably
the
should have
gear
went back
works.
and up the difficulty during those and see how well I would do. But I mean, those fights that they had in there, they were fun. I enjoyed them a lot, but I don't think they were very challenging. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed them. I mean, they were a different kind of boss fight than the ones that you normally would see in games.
Right.
So, I mean, I'll go ahead and say one of my favorite boss fights was from Insomniac Spider-Man, the final boss fight against Doc Ock. That one was fun. I mean, Spider-Man, that game itself was just super duper fun.
I still have yet to get to play it, or yeah. So I'll have to see how good that fight is. And it's funny that that's on your list because Spider-Man 2's final boss fight with Doc
Oh.
Ock was gonna be on my list.
Well, I wanna
So
play
how
it.
does the fight in the new one do?
Hold on.
Yeah, how does it do, Nick?
How does it do, Nick?
I'm pulling up some gameplay so I can go ahead and show that for people. Let me just go ahead, skip ahead. Okay. So obviously there's a lot of swinging around because you're on top of this like skyscraper building.
I thought you were gonna say because you're Spider-Man.
No, well, yeah, because you're Spider-Man and there's a lot of swinging around. So I mean that's fun because obviously like you're up on that skyscraper, you have to swing around, dodge things, whatnot. You'll have different things that you can pick up with your webs and then sling it at him. You have your spider you send Peter Tingle going off to yeah. I forgot. Just watching the gameplay, you had to get a suit in the game to be able to, I think, actually face him, if I recall, because his suit is different. It's like black with the
I like
yellow. But yeah, there's a lot of like dodging, reacting to him, and then having to like swing around. Like there's a part like what it's showing right now where the top of the skyscraper you're on, like the floor is basically lava. You have to treat it like the floor is lava. And you are having to definitely swing around and stay in the air and then dodge things, try to take them, like use your webs to grab it and then throw it back at him, like all the debris that he throws. I mean, it's just a very enjoyable boss fight because the game itself is just very enjoyable. So it was not a boss fight that I would get angry at or get frustrated because of either like my lack of skill or the boss was just broken. So yeah.
I'm actually watching the gameplay on the stream right now, and it reminds me a lot of the Spider-Man 2 one. Like you had to do a floor is lava thing, although it was the floor is electrified water.
Okay.
And you had to like dodge electricity, and you were in that like what was it, his lab or whatever there, obviously at the end of the movie, but also at the end of the game. And so it's sinking, you're in a building having to dodge things, jump from like place to place, wall to wall. You can't really swing around. It was so difficult. So difficult. But it made you have to actually focus on the things that you've learned in the game rather than just I'm swinging in, punch, punch, punch. I'm gonna jump out, go over, like swing around, jump in, punch, punch, punch. Like you couldn't leave the area. You had to stay in the fight, and it was a challenge for like, gosh, 12-year-old me. I think it was.
Let's see if I can find some of that gameplay. Oh goodness.
The graphics probably do not hold up. So.
Oh yeah, we're about to pull this up for you.
Oh.
Oh man, is this one where you're like on a subway?
That was the first boss fight against him, I think.
Oh, okay, well.
But this one is also a very good one, because you're having to dodge his boys, his Tindril boys.
Okay. Man.
And it's very much like the movie.
let's just say games have came a long way graphics wise.
They have. They really have. And up until the most recent Spider-Man game, this was the best they had ever done with a Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
In terms of like the freedom of movement, I think it was ray tracing for the web shooting, and like you never had a web going to midair. It was always going to a building. So fighting in Central Park was a pain in the butt because you could only swing from trees.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I'm very grateful for the Spider-Man game that we have now.
Yes. Far superior, but really a spiritual successor in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Let's see. Another good boss fight that I enjoyed, like it was somewhat annoying if I remember, was from the newest God of War. The Boulder boss fight.
Yeah, I didn't get to play the new God of War, but I have specifically seen this boss fight like brought up numerous times by like friends. I've seen it on Facebook Gaming for some reason. Apparently this fight is really hard and it looks super cool.
Yeah. Try to, I guess, pull up some gameplay. Let me find to the gameplay where you can show some of it. That's just a bunch of dialogue, them talking, and yeah, let's get here. I was not prepared to show boss fight gameplay, just so you know.
Hey, sometimes improvisation
Which,
is the best way to do it.
yeah. But yeah, so God of War has.
Punched him through a tree.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's facing a god, and yeah.
What the? You're telling me this scrawny guy is the final boss?
No, he's not the final boss.
Oh,
no.
okay,
This is like the
okay.
first boss that you come across in this game.
Okay. I was gonna say I was expecting more.
Well, if I'm trying to remember if he is he the final boss? Chat, just let me know if I can't remember. I feel like he is. I think you do have to face him at the end. I'm just trying to remember if that was the actual like final boss, which it could have been, and I'm just not remembering for whatever reason. But yeah,
I think he was the final boss.
okay. It was just not this part. This was the very first one.
Yeah.
First, and he'll just come back, and I know you do face him. I just could not remember if he was the final or not.
Yeah, something. I remember it was something about his like runes on his skin or something.
Yeah.
Cool dude.
Yeah. And then also speaking of God of War, I know God of War 3, which I never really did play the old God of War games, but 3 I did play because I got it on sale on PS4 for like less than $5, and I went through it. But that Poseidon boss fight, that one was, I feel like it was like game changing. Did you ever play the old God of War?
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Poseidon, that's the one where you're basically climbing up him, right? He's a giant.
Yes.
He's got that freaky looking trident. He looked really tribal. Like had the runes on him, and he had that thing in his chest.
Yeah.
That was an annoying boss fight. It felt very Shadow of Colossus-y though, because you're just constantly climbing up and dodging everything. Or
see.
Oh,
I got some gameplay. I may skip ahead to.
That's a big guy.
Yeah, this made it feel like
yes,
you are facing
Good
like you are facing
word.
a big boss.
Well, it is literally a big boss.
Yeah. And I think like this was the first time I played the old time God of War, so I think I got a little annoyed in this boss fight, but I mean later I was able to do it, which this dude playing, I think he's about to die. But yeah, this
it's like the Kraken on steroids.
Yes.
Insanity.
Nope, gotta add a little pop up here. Don't want that.
Wow.
Yeah, this was like an incredible boss fight. Like a lot of people, or a lot of things I looked up, because I did look up some different like boss fights, just to see what was like fan favorites or difficult boss fights. And this one I kept seeing pop up, and I remember, and I had fun with this boss because it felt epic as you're doing it. So
yeah, because you're teamed up with the the Earth God Gaia or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good combo. I'm watching the stream, that throw into the wall that they did. But yeah, that was a good fight. God of War usually did really well with their boss fights.
Yeah.
Much better than Dante's Inferno, which was a similar game, but like I couldn't get through that game, man.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you did you have any more boss fights that you like of your top favorite loved ones?
So this is kind of obscure, but really maybe one of my favorite, if not my favorite bosses, is the Pursuer from Dark Souls 2. is just this super mysterious giant in a suit of armor who has this like massive quiver on his back where he's got all of these weapons from the different enemies that he's taken down. And I
What
don't
was his name?
remember exactly the Pursuer. But he shows up a few times in the game, and it seems like his job is to chase down hollowed undead or whatever, and to take them down. So he pursues them like basically like a bounty hunter, and takes their weapon as a trophy. But the first time you see him, you have a chance to beat him and then not have to face him later on.
I assume
But
this is it that I pulled up. It may
Yes.
take it a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first time you fight him. Oh no! This is actually the second time you fight him. You can fight him one time before this on a very small platform near the bottom of this castle that you're on the top of now, and it's probably the hardest fight in the game, honestly. But it doesn't really count because it's very optional, and you're not expected to be able to beat it at all.
Why? He seems to move rather slow. Like, does it actually move that slow?
Sort of, but he's not really slow. Like, Dark Souls movement is strange, and those combos are ridiculous. And he has an ability to just this one right here. Or sorry, I'm watching the stream, so it's not this one right here.
Yeah.
But his sword glows, and he goes for a stab, and it will one shot you. And he doesn't take a lot of damage, so the only way to really take him down is with either sorcery, magic, or the ballistas, which you have to like stun him and then shoot him with the ballista. It's a whole thing. It's a great boss fight, that one right there. But he has, I think, 3 different boss fights throughout the game that you can fight him in. And I just really enjoy him as a boss. And I actually took part of his lore of collecting the weapons of great enemies you've defeated and put it into the backstory of my D&D monk, Hung Lo.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he typically will collect weapons like that, like the Pursuer. So yeah, Pursuer is probably one of my favorite bosses. Like Evo.
And then I have another one that I'm going to mention of one that I actually did. It was, and I know I give this game, kind of some crap, because it was not as good as the other ones. But it was the Batman Arkham Origins, the boss fight against Deathstroke.
Oh, I don't think I saw that one. I unfortunately didn't get to play Batman Arkham Origins.
It's the worst of all of them, in my opinion.
But it's got one of your top boss fights.
I know, because the boss fight is good. Because it seemed like this boss fight, I feel like, was different from the other boss fights in the other games. Because this one, you actually had to definitely learn like the movement, the patterns that it had. You had to be able to counter. Like, it was a more difficult boss fight than the like Arkham Asylum or Arkham City. Though Arkham City did have a really good boss fight against Mr. Freeze. Whenever you're in, I think it was the Gotham City PD. And like he basically just, I think during that one, he kind of like betrayed you, and then you had to fight him, and you had to go around and do different tactics to be able to take down Mr. Freeze. Because if you did one, he would make it where you can't do that same tactic again, so you had to take him down like different ways. So that one's a really good boss fight. But this one, it just seemed like it was the one against Deathstroke. It was different. It was more like a true boss fight. And I remembered, I think, since it was a little different, I feel like I struggled a little bit the first time I did it. But I mean, and I know it's not just me because, like I said, whenever I was looking up different boss fights, like this one came up quite often. So, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind going back and playing the game just to have this boss fight again because, I mean, it's rather enjoyable, and I feel like the team did a good job with this, opposed with, except for the other part of the game where if you get the shot gloves, you basically are the most overpowered Batman because you can hit through anything, and yeah.
That sounds fun, though.
Yeah. I mean, it was just kind of like, I know I've gave crap about the game, and it's mostly because of that. Whenever you get those shot gloves, you could punch anyone, and you're basically gonna, get through. And yeah, if you want more of a challenge, don't ever use those shot gloves. So, yeah.
Oh, I've got something else I can say.
Oh,
I don't want to give too much away because people might not have gotten there yet. But I was a little disappointed in the boss fight at the end of the Avengers campaign.
yeah. Yeah.
It could have been better. Now, granted, I did do this on easy mode because I started out the campaign on normal difficulty, and there was one part where I kept dying and I got frustrated and I switched over to easy.
And she forgot that she switched over.
No, I knew. I just left it.
Oh, okay.
I just left it on easy. But I feel like there could have been more to it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Yeah. Did you have any more, Will, that you want to say, like, of favorite boss fights?
I think I'm good. Oh, not a boss fight, but I will say I absolutely loved the boss races from Crash Team Racing. Those were always super fun. I think we've discussed before, I don't know if you guys have played the Crash Team Racing games, but they had awesome boss fights. I'm not sure if Mario Kart had boss races. Did Mario Kart have boss races?
No.
I don't think so.
I mean, it was just like, it would get harder, but it wasn't really boss level.
So Crash Team Racing had all of these different, like, parts of the island that you would explore, and they would unlock after you beat the boss of that part of the island. And every boss was pretty much a boss from the previous games, just on a cart. But they were the most insane races you could possibly have. Like, the first one was this just a boost guy who was constantly boosting. So all of the items you picked up were boosts, and he boosted constantly. So you always had boosts up. So the first boss fight is just an insane, just hitting your nitro constantly and hoping you don't crash into something, because if you crash once, you lost. It was so difficult, but so amazing. And then each boss from there featured a special item that's the only item you got through the entire thing, and it was incredibly difficult. And I hadn't really played a lot of racing games that had like insane boss races like that, except for obviously the Need for Speed type games like Carbon.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where I want to. Oh, yeah. I do want to mention it's one I haven't played, but I kept seeing it a lot, and it was Cuphead. Which Cuphead is one of those games where they're mostly boss fights, from what I recall. But I know King Dice.
Pretty much.
King Dice was one that kept coming up, and I know Will and I kind of discussed before that one. And I watched a little gameplay of it. It's like a big boss fight with a bunch of mini boss fights in there. So you would have to like hit a dice, and then you would go into this other room, had to face this little mini boss. You would come back out, And then, I mean, there's king dice like above, and then you're doing this dice thing again, and you're trying to move up like the table to the point where you would face him. And yeah, and I know no, that was one that I would see a lot. I think that people either enjoyed or hated, and yeah, but that's one of those games where it's mostly boss fights.
Yep. That was an insane boss fight, and King Dice is just such a jerk.
Yeah.
Because there's an entire point right at the end where you're fighting him, which, spoiler alert, I guess, where he just makes these cards march across the screen.
Yeah.
Almost endlessly. So you can't avoid them.
And you have to like time it where you would land on the heart card or something.
Yeah. It's
and the
so
pattern the pattern's random from what I heard. Yeah. So I mean, did you want to talk about games that are mostly boss fights, or did you want to kind of talk about like hated or hardest boss fights that we've had?
We can talk about some games that are mostly boss fights, and just real quick, there are a few out there that I feel like are worthy of mentioning. Obviously, Fury came out a few years ago, spelled with an I, so Furi. And it's a game that is literally all boss fights. You are a like neon samurai, and you just fight boss after boss after boss, and it's got phenomenal music, and the art's great. It's just overall, it's a great game, and I don't think it was actually expensive. I think it was maybe $15 when I got it, but that might be like some illusion I have in my head. But it was really good. I had it for PS4. It might be on Steam. It's probably on PS. It's probably on Steam.
Okay.
And then obviously, I mentioned it earlier when talking about God of War, but Shadow of Colossus is pretty much just big boss fight. Ending with you fighting the Colossus and beating it. Spoiler alert.
I mean, I've never played Shadow of Colossus. I think most of the games that you put down with mostly boss fights, I haven't actually like played any of them.
I had to give a shout out to Monster Hunter, which it's not all boss fights. There's plenty of these little creatures out in the wild that will be like the scrub creatures. But in pretty much every game, you get to the point where you go out and you hunt the big creature. You go out, you hunt the big creature, and you come back. It's just constantly going after a boss. So it turns into that after a while. So I figured I'd mention that because it is a good series. It's not Pokemon. I was hoping it was going to be like Pokemon when I first played it, but it's still really fun. And Monster Hunter World actually allows you to trap these monsters and then bring them home and put them in your arena so you can fight them forever because, that's ethical. And I figured I would throw it in there as sort of a fun comment, but Mike Tyson's Punch-Out from back in the day, you're playing as Little Mac, who most people I think know now from Smash Bros.
Yeah.
But he is training to fight Mike Tyson. And so you go through all of these insane fights against ridiculous characters who have basically magical powers. And they just get increasingly more difficult. And then you fight Mike Tyson, who may be the most unbeatable boss in any game. He was just so difficult.
When I was looking stuff up, that one definitely came up of like one of the hardest ones.
Yes, and I would say that would be one that also might list in top most hated boss fights.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about some most hated boss fights, I'm sure there are plenty of those out there.
Yeah, there's a lot that I could go through. But I mean, I can give ones that I personally hated. And some of these could be ones that are like most hard that I've experienced. There was one in Final Fantasy VII Remake that I just absolutely hated. It was annoying because I don't think I had the correct stuff equipped, so it made it more difficult. And it was the Arsenal boss fight that you had, and you were playing with Barret and Aerith. That one annoyed me, and I know at the very end there's like this one big move that it's going to do, and if you don't kill it in time, it's going to kill you. And I was like, I don't want to go through this again, so I was just doing everything I possibly could, and I luckily beat it. But I was just dreading having to, like, think about going through that again.
Goodness. You're just playing as Barret and Aerith?
Yes, it was just those two. You got like separated off, and I don't think I had the correct stuff for it, and it was just very annoying. You do have stuff you can hide behind, but that stuff can get destroyed. So then eventually it could just be one big open area. I was just like, I was dreading like trying to go through that again. Let's see. I don't think I want to mention that one. Okay, I know a lot of people probably went through this all, fine and dandy. But whenever I was younger and I played the game, it was Pokemon Soul Silver. Got through the Elite Elite 8, Elite 4, I can't remember what it is. Basically all that. 4. And then there was where you can climb this mountain and you can find Red, or basically Ash, and you can face him. I never beat him because my Pokemon I never got them high enough level where I probably could contend against him. I think I did with some of them, but he just kept destroying me. And I was like, I'm going to beat him one day. I never did.
Yeah, I think he might be like the hardest boss that they put in the Pokemon game, like to this day.
Like, he was annoying.
Which the Generation 2, the OG Gen 2 like game had so many of those just super hard bosses.
Yeah.
The gym leaders, the Elite Four. I remember at the end of the Elite Four, you had to fight Lance, the dragon dude, and it was just the biggest pain in the butt. Like, I'd get through the Elite Four and be like, yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah. All right, I gotta fight Lance now. Sure, fine, whatever. And then just get stomped and have to restart the entire Elite Four. And then the second time you go through, you go through Kanto, the original region, because Gen 2 was originally supposed to be the end, so it actually has the most. It's actually got 2 regions in it.
Yeah,
so you fight the Elite Four again.
Yeah, it was my favorite Pokemon game.
Same.
So, and towards the end, whenever I would face the Elite Four, I would actually use them to level up my Pokemon, because I knew I would go in and probably die, but I would use them to level up my Pokemon, and then I'm like, all right, now I'm good. I want to, face y'all. And I mean, it would be a close match, but eventually I would win. And then if you go and try to face Ash, gosh, you're not going to win unless you get your Pokemon up to like level 100. Yeah. Have fun with that.
I was like, here, you can catch this Suicune. Cool, you caught a Suicune. Now go fight a level 80 Pikachu. Yeah. Oh, what?
And then I think I'm just going to mention one other one from this list. Hold on, Lindsay's like...
No, go ahead.
Okay. The other one that I'll mention from this list that we have is the freaking Valkyries in the God of War game. Oh my gosh.
I remember hearing you talk about them when you were playing.
Because I can't remember how many different ones there were, but you would have to go and face them, and then you would face like the Valkyrie Queen. But I got through one. Oh, that one was pretty easy. I got through the second one. Oh, I'm like, that one's easy. I got through the third one. That one's easy. I get to the fourth one. I'm like, oh, this is a little difficult. And I think that's where I would die. And I can't remember if it was that fourth one or it was the next one where I could not beat it. And I was like, well, screw this. I want to go to a different one. And I went to one that was like a secret level. It was like volcanic level or whatever. That one was even worse because they get harder as you go up. And I didn't know that there was like a particular order until I looked it up, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah, the volcanic one I think was one of the later ones.
Yes, I think it was like 6 or I think I can't remember the order.
7,
but
it's 7.
That one, it was
Multiple
annoying.
high.
I never beat that one. And then and I was like thinking afterwards, I'm like, even if I did beat all of these, I would still have to go and face that Valkyrie Queen. I would get so angry if I had to face that Valkyrie Queen because I think she has a combination of like all the other Valkyries of like a moveset into her. So you would have to be like on the top of your game. But yeah, screw the Valkyries. They were annoying.
Yes, absolutely insane. Yeah, I think what was it? You were gathering their helmets or their crowns or
Something.
whatever. And at the end you went and you put each crown at each of their thrones, and then she showed up and just wrecked your face because she was
Maybe one day I'll go back and play the God of War game again, and I will beat those Valkyries.
Now, I'll tell you the absolute hardest boss. My own ineptitude in Fall Guys. That is the hardest boss. I still haven't beaten
Yeah.
I can't say the same. I've got 2 crowns from.
Oh, look at me! I'm Nick.
Yeah.
I'm 1.
Did you have any more to say with hard boss fights, or?
I am my own hardest boss fight. That is it.
Okay.
I got real deep.
I mean, there's a few other ones that like I said I've looked up, and I've just kept hearing of like hard boss fights or could be good ones but also hard. Like I said, one I haven't mentioned or I haven't played is Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, facing Senator Armstrong. That boss fight's a half an hour.
Ew.
And I don't think from what I saw, there wasn't like a checkpoint during that boss fight.
Oh no.
So yeah. Another one was Kingdom Hearts 3 whenever you face that final dude. Never played Kingdom Hearts 3, but I heard that this one is one where it feels so rewarding when you beat him, but it's so annoying to face him. And then, like I mentioned before, Cuphead. There was one I kept seeing, Grim Matchstick, where you're facing a dragon. But like we've said before, Cuphead's one of those games where people definitely rage quit because that was a hard one. And yeah, well, I was going to talk about one game, but that would have been earlier, and we're getting lower on time. But I do want to bring up, if you want to talk about what you feel like a boss fight should have. Like from all the games that you played, like what are some of the things that you got from boss fights, and you're like, you know what, that's something that should be in like every boss fight.
Goodness. Definitely, I mean, not every boss fight, but a good boss fight, you obviously want to have a reason to fight this thing or this
Yes.
person. Like there are hack and slash games where it's just like, hey, here's a big thing, but really you don't remember what that big thing was. You only remember the bosses that there's a reason to it, or you know much about them. They have good story, good lore, or they just looked really freaking cool.
Yeah. Like if the game was like a story-based game, you definitely want to have that story build up to that boss fight where you're like, I know who he is or she is the one I have to face and I have to defeat. And you're setting a goal to be able to take down, that boss.
Yes.
Which with that for me, I would say that the boss fight definitely needs to feel rewarding. The boss is a milestone, and you want to be able to pass that milestone where it does give you that, sense of a big achievement or reward. So yeah, I feel like it definitely has to be, rewarding, and definitely not like, the lame thing where you kind of like go through the game, you kind of skip through cutscenes and all that stuff, and you get to the final boss, and you're like, I don't really even know who this boss is, but I just know I have to face it. Like, that's kind of
That
lame.
Thanos meme. You took
the
everything
Thanos
from me.
meme,
I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, like I feel like the games definitely need to catch you into that story where you want to, know the things and then know why you have to go and face that boss or whatnot. So, with like going back to Mario, it's pretty, easy for that one because hey, Bowser kidnapped Peach. I have to go and rescue Peach. Like that one's like what you're doing. It's simple and it's a good boss fight and it does feel rewarding. Not all games are like that. Some definitely want to build up the story more, like deep into that lore of the game and all that.
And every couple of games after that, there's more of, Bowser's kids for some odd reason.
Yeah.
Every few games.
You have ruined that for me whenever you said his kids and Peach's kids.
Yeah.
I will have you know, I will never think of that the same.
And
Thank you.
And then one last thing from me of what I was with the whole boss fight and what I think boss fight should have. I know there's probably more. This is just one that I thought of. Is it gives you the challenge to show the mastery of gameplay. So where it's a test of your skill that you've gotten throughout the game, and it's like, this is the time to put all your skills to, the test. Kind of like, in school, whenever you're preparing for that final exam, like that's the thing you're trying to, beat. So in this, you're taking all that skill and you're wanting to beat that boss fight. So I feel like that boss that you're facing is going to put your skills to the test. And I know
that reminds me of a boss fight from Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, where you pretty much, it's like this giant like worm hydra thing. I just remember it had a lot of like eyes and stuff, but you had to like use your boomerang and your grapple hook and every tool at your disposal you had to use at some point to beat that boss.
Yeah.
I love bosses that do that.
But I think we're going to move on. Like we could talk about, bosses for, quite some time. But we definitely need to move on, and we're going to move on to our nostalgia game of the week.
Oh, snap.
As you know, we started to we put a wheel together of different nostalgia games that we enjoyed playing growing up, and it gives us that nostalgia feeling if we ever go back. And each week we have that wheel, and we spin that wheel, and I want to pull up that wheel as soon as I can. Dang it. All these ads keep popping up.
Click that X right there. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I want to pull up this wheel so everyone can see. And we're just going to spin this wheel, see what it lands on, and we'll, kind of briefly talk about the game.
Fast.
Mario 64. Woo! That's one we definitely could talk about now because, as some of y'all know, the Mario 3D All-Stars game came out, and Mario 64 is one of the games on there. I've been playing it. I played it some yesterday. That was another game I forgot to mention that I've been playing.
Oh, yeah. You got frustrated because you couldn't race that penguin
okay,
and beat it.
Let me just say, the stupid penguin that you have to face in that little, like, slide race or whatever is so annoying because, one, he starts before you, and that's not fair. Two, you can't use any shortcut. Like, I use, the typical shortcut where it has the coins leading into the wall where you could go through and whatever, and then he knows you use a shortcut. So then I'm like, well, screw this. I go down the slide, and at one point I go off the slide and I fall down on another part of the slide that is like further down. And then I beat him. And then that penguin was like, "Oh, Mario, you cheated. You can't do that. Come again when you're not a cheater." Like,
Oh,
how
oof.
what? You little talk about cheating. You're the one that starts before we even, get to like go. Like you're like go, and then you start, and then I have to come and
and he's
come behind.
fast.
Yeah, and that sucker gets pretty dang quick. So screw him. Yeah, but I mean that game's great.
Was that the first 3D platformer for Mario?
Quite possibly, I believe so.
Looks like it could be.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, it came out in like what 97, 90, I don't know. It came out before 2000, so. Oh, but yeah, I mean, the game's fun. Like, it definitely gives me that nostalgia feel. Like I said, I think the other week after I got it, whenever I was playing it, I went to the first level or painting or whatever you want to call it, and I was climbing up that mountain. I was like, I was starting to remember things from back whenever I played when I was younger, like the little
It's like
shortcut to get up
Riding
there.
a bicycle.
Yeah.
It all came back to him.
Which I haven't got far. I think I only got like 20 stars in that game that I've played so far. But yeah. But I'm like kind of remember some of the things, and it's like, oh, this was fun. I remember playing this on, the 64, and having my family from up north come down to my dad's lake house, and during the sometimes during the day, like we would just be downstairs playing video games, either the 64 or the GameCube, and Mario 64 was one of the ones that some of my cousins really enjoyed playing, and yeah, even if we weren't playing, we were watching, and we all had a blast. So it was a lot of fun. You have any good memories, Will, with Mario 64?
I just remember being annoyed by always falling into deep chasms because
Oh,
I
yeah.
was terrible at like all of the skinny. They always had these little paths that you had to navigate.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I wasn't. Maybe it was. Maybe my controller was stinky. I don't know. But I was not good.
It's not. I mean, it's not that. Like, I still kind of had that problem playing. Like, I didn't fall into the big chasm, but I fell off this like little bridge that I needed to get across, and I would have to go back up and do it again. But that was one thing I really wish that Nintendo would have fixed whenever they re-release this, was the dang camera on that game. Like, the camera is awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, it's a great game. You should go out and play it. But now we are going to move on to our final thing. Welcome to Out of the Box Gaming News with Lindsay Picard.
Thanks, Nick. Microsoft announced that the price of the Xbox Series S in Japan will be reduced by about $30. No specific reason for the price drop has been given. Among Us 2 has been cancelled. The developers have decided to focus on the current game and add new content to it since its popularity has taken off. Amazon has announced Luna, a cloud gaming service that will come to PC, Mac, Fire TV, and web apps for iOS devices. Microsoft has revealed the price of its proprietary expanded storage cards for Xbox Series X and Series S. These 1 terabyte storage cards will cost $220. Blizzard co-founder and ex-CEO Mike Moheim announced the launch of a new game company called Dreamhaven. And Microsoft announced this week that they are buying Bethesda and parent company ZeniMax Media for $7.5 billion. Now to Will with the weather.
It's raining.
All right, yeah, quick things over some of this news. With the first one, Microsoft, dropping the price in Japan by $30, and no one knows the reason why. I know the reason why, because no one in Japan cares about Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, like straight up, that's the reason why they would do a price drop there, because Japan buys Sony over Xbox. Like, I'd really,
They got Sony and Nintendo.
yeah, like that. No one in Japan cares for Xbox. Let's see. Good for the people that made Among Us, for them to cancel so they can focus on, the first game, make it better, add new content. I'm sure Among Us 2 will come down later down the road. Amazon announcing that Luna thing. Well, buy Stadia. It was nice knowing you, because I'm pretty sure from like things I've heard, the Amazon Luna, I think, is a better deal. I don't really know all the details on it. This is just stuff that I heard like yesterday. Yeah, I feel like from what they were saying, it's a better deal. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same as Stadia. And then some people might be confused on the whole, like, how are they going to play on the iOS? Because of, the Game Pass is having that issue. Stadia can't play, on Apple because of their rules that they have. Well, it does say that it's web apps. And that's one way that you can get around on the iOS to play these gaming services, is to do it through like a web browser type thing, instead of it being an app on the thing, because they would have to go through the hassle of
App Store.
Like Apple wants it where every gamer would have to go through their like review and see if it's worthy of being on there. And Apple said that they would allow, Game Pass to be on there, but they Microsoft would have to send in each individual game. And I mean, Apple was saying like, hey, we're going to let you do this, but you're basically going to have to work for it. So a way to get around it is just doing it through a web browser, where you can pull up the thing and use it that way instead of it being through an app. So
yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, those expanded storage for the Xbox Series X and S. So yeah,
I'm not
those are
mad at
what. Do what?
I'm not mad at it.
I mean, yeah, like
So 1 terabyte storage cost almost as much as the S does.
So okay, the thing is about it, I know a lot of people are upset because of the price, but the thing is, there's no competition in that, from what I know, so they can set whatever price they want. Also, these are SSD and they're not just HDDs.
Yeah, they've got like the specific.
They're solid state drive. They're not just hard drives. And solid state drives are a bit more expensive, but I mean, I feel like they could be cheaper than that. But like I said, there's not really competition with it, so they can put the price whatever they want. So if you want extra storage, then you're gonna have to pay for it. Basically, is what they're saying. Same is probably going to be with Sony with their PS5. I mean, I don't think I've heard much about their expanded storage. I haven't really heard much about it. I'm sure we'll find what. I mean, at least Sony, they make it easy. At least with the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, I've upgraded the storage by buying a hard drive that could go into a computer, and I can just put.
They need to bring back the memory cards.
So, I mean, that's typical. I think that's what
That'd
the
be awesome.
what the Microsoft one looks like. It looks
Oh,
like
you
a
just
memory.
plug in an old
It looks
memory
like
card?
a memory card that you plug into the back of the
That's
the
so
system.
cool.
So
The only problem with that is, again, PC. Just get a PC.
yeah,
I'm more excited to hear about whether Sony is going to release external or expanded storage cards for
they'll
the PlayStation.
I think theirs is going to be like what I was saying before. Their hard drives that you can put in your computer is probably going to be compatible to put into the PlayStation. But we'll see.
That'd be
I mean,
nice.
it could be different. I mean, they may just go a different path. Be like, hey, here's these extra storage that we made, and it's going to cost like $220, like the Xbox or the Microsoft what they did.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to this Dreamhaven, because a lot of the people that would be working there, from what I've heard, is people that used to work at Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they produce.
Yeah. And they've already got two, what's the name for it? Because they're like the big company. So there are two other
Subsidiaries?
sort of, yeah. Like there are two other things that are already working under them, but there
Okay.
isn't any word of what they're creating yet. But they've got a lot of people who worked on Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm and, you know, the Blizzard games that are working for them.
Nice, nice.
And then, you know, there was that big news about Microsoft buying Bethesda and the parent company ZeniMax Media for that whopping $7.5 billion. You know, when I saw this, I wasn't really affected by it. I'm not, the Bethesda games have not really, you know, done it for me. I never really cared for Fallout. Skyrim I played for a little bit. They're the ones that made Doom. I never played Doom. I never really cared to play Doom. I know Doom I hear is a good game, but it's not my cup of tea. But the only thing that I'm interested to seeing, I mean, there's been a bunch of news on it that they're still going to be making stuff for PlayStation. And yeah, there's like a whole mess of stuff that if you want to read about it, you can go and just look up the whole Microsoft and Bethesda's thing and see what all is going on. But I know there'll still be games coming to PlayStation. But it's Bethesda's new game that they talked about a couple E3s ago that interests me, but we haven't really heard much about, and it was like Starfield or something like that. That's the one I kind of hope is still going to be coming out on all platforms. But if it doesn't, I have a PC. I can still play the game.
Solve that problem.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, we have. I've seen a few people like on Facebook or whatever posting memes about like, you know, PlayStation players when they see that Microsoft bought Bethesda, and it's just like, you know, people making fun of PlayStation players. I'm like, pretty much every PlayStation player probably has a PC.
yeah.
So the fact that Microsoft buys ZeniMax Media, it means nothing because
yeah.
those games will still pretty much always be released on PC.
Yeah, and like I said, there was some games that I've already said that are still coming out on PlayStation, and even Phil Spencer for Microsoft was saying that games will still come, I think, out on all platforms on a case-by-case basis. So you could take those same memes that people put of PlayStation, how they look, whenever they found that out, back to saying, oh, my Xbox players on whenever they find out that these games are still coming out on PlayStation. So, but yeah, that is the news, and it looks like we are about all out of time today.
I hope you guys have been thinking about that trivia question, because I know I certainly haven't. So, Lindsay, if you could remind us what that question was, and yeah, we'll try to figure it out.
Yes. So my question was, what was the first video game to have a boss fight? Best of luck, my friends, because I had never heard of it.
All right, well, that was a hint. Well, I don't know.
it?
I don't know if you have a guess. But I don't. So I'm just going to say I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
I am going to say, yeah, I don't even have a guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was 1975, and it was a game. No, that was the year, not the game.
I know.
Okay. And the game was called D&D, lowercase D-N-D, not the and.
Okay.
Okay. And it was a role-playing video game for the Plateau system. It was a dungeon crawler game based on the concepts behind Dungeons and Dragons. The objective of the game is to retrieve an orb from the bottommost dungeon. But only by defeating the dragon can the player claim the orb.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we learned something today.
Daggum.
All right. Well, we are going to wrap up this episode, but, before we go, we would like you to be able to contact us on all the different media platforms. Will, do you care to share what those platforms are?
Sure thing, Nick. You guys can find our YouTube channel, Out of the Box Gaming, and that, well, everything is linked there. But we've got our Discord linked there, and pretty much anywhere you can find our link tree. You should always join our Discord and come play games with us, or even just check out our sweet, sweet memes. We've also got an Instagram. It is OOTB_gaming. We've got our Twitter. I'm pretty sure we're active on that. Twitter handle is @GamingOOTB. Also, be sure to check out our Patreon and all the fantastic perks you can unlock there. Pretty sure that's linked in our link tree and everywhere else. Mm-hmm. And speaking of Patreon, we want to give a big shout out and thank you to the main man, Cody Watkins, aka Indecent Sarcasm. He is the true MVP here. So thank you very much to him.
Yes, by MVP, he means most valuable patron.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah. And then speaking of our awesome Patreon perks, the new ones that we have had added included extra entries into our monthly giveaway.
What?
Yeah.
A monthly giveaway?
I mean, we did this last time.
I know.
Yeah, so, all right, monthly giveaway. So, yeah, that's right. We're going to be starting a monthly giveaway in October. More information about the giveaway will be coming in the next few weeks. Make sure you keep an eye on our Instagram for more information.
We have Instagram?
Yeah.
As for me, or as for the show, if you want to catch us live, you can find us live on Facebook Gaming, Trovo, DLive, and Twitch at Ace King King. And then for me, if you just want to find me whenever I stream or anything, you can find it on YouTube, Facebook Gaming, Trovo, DLive, Twitch, and Instagram at Ace King King. And then if you want to find me on Twitter, that's Ace King King 77.
That's right. And please be sure to leave a review, a like, a subscribe, whatever the options are, really, on any platform you find us on. Thank you guys so very much for listening, and please join us next week.
Yeah, this has been Out of the Box Gaming with Nick Picard and Will Kinsey and Lindsay. Thanks for playing along.